is my pleasure to introduce our speaker this morning. Gretchen Meisner is a lifelong medium from Salem, New Hampshire. There, she lives with her husband Kurt of 33 years, and they have 3 adult sons. Gretchen has been a spiritualist for over 25 years. She holds a PAS accreditation for speaking and demonstrating from the Spiritualist National Union in the UK. She is a certified psychic medium through the LWI-SSD, and that's through the Lisa Williams Institute. And in addition to holding public demonstrations of mediumship, Gretchen offers private readings and enjoys teaching mediumship development. Please help me welcome Gretchen Meisner.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Can you hear me okay? How's this? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I haven't tested the mic, but I'm a little taller than Pauline, so anyway. So thank you, Pauline, for that wonderful introduction. Thank you, Dr. Gates, and Dr. Gates' wife. It was nice to meet you today. I didn't get your first name. Thank you for that beautiful music that helped to raise the vibration. My Peggy Atkins, thank you for your help online and giving me information to be here today. My friend Carl is here with his beautiful wife Shannon. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but you're my spiritualist family. Hello. How have you been? I missed you. It's Thanksgiving. Isn't it lovely to be together again?
Yes.
Now, when I'm at my home church, what I usually say, I'll say, "Good morning, everyone," and everyone says back to me, "It's not Halloween again, is it?"
Always Halloween.
Okay. And then I say, "I love you," and everyone says it back to me. So do you think, guys, could you do that for me this morning?
Sure.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Good
morning. I love you.
I love you.
Oh, thank you so much. That made my day. Hopefully it made yours too. Because doesn't it feel good to hear that?
Yes.
And it feels even better to say it sometimes, right?
Yes.
And especially this time of year when the holidays are coming. And I don't know about you, but I tend to get kind of stressed out around this time of year. You know, with seeing people and being with people and driving around and traveling and the expectations and sometimes the grief and the loneliness sets in. And I think that's part of the human condition, right?
Yes.
So when I was coming here, I like to prepare and address ahead of time. And I try to work with the spirits of the church and ask them, okay, what would your people like to hear this Sunday? What principle do they want to talk about? Like, what uplifting message? And there's a lot of spirits that work with this church. I will tell you that right now. Hallelujah. So we narrowed it down to 4 things, okay? That being yourself, okay, that's the first thing they wanted to talk about. And then, of course, Thanksgiving, you know, that thing's coming up later this week. And then being at peace during the holidays and all the time, right? I mean, it's on your website now, so I think that's important. And then the other thing was the afterlife, okay? So in no particular order, because I respect all of them highly, I'm just going to I jotted down a few notes, and I'm going to kind of allow them to speak to you through me. I mean, I'm my consciousness. I'm not doing this as trance, obviously. But it's just coming from my heart. Because like you, I'm a spirit in a body. Okay? And so, as we know, have you guys heard of that that guy, Silverbird, who's in spirit, who talked through Maurice Barnabelle, the Native American? Well, he was kind of an all-knowing spirit. And so oh, before I go on, how many of you are spiritualists? How many people here are spiritualists? And how many people have never been to a spiritualist church service? Anybody? A few people. Okay. All right, then we'll behave while you're here today. Visitors, okay. And so Maurice Barnabelle channeled Silver Birch, and it's not a scary thing. It's not like a seance or anything. It was purely light and angels. And he said to him, he asked the guy, what happens after you die? Okay. And you might wonder, what does that have to do with Thanksgiving and peace? Okay. Like, I'll explain. Everything, right, exactly. Okay, she got my punchline. All right, I'm done. So this was his answer, okay? One day after death, you will be the same individual you were before it, except that you will have discarded your physical body. You will express yourself through your etheric light body, all disease left behind. Life in spirit is full, it's busy. That is the real world. Life here is like a dream. Spirit is our real life. Spirit is all around us, and it's not far away. We don't have to go up or down or around or to Disney World to get to our loved ones. We just can go inside, talk to a friend. But for me personally, that knowledge is the root of my beliefs as a spiritualist. I'm a spiritualist because, to me, freedom and truth are the number one priorities for me in my life. In my yearbook in high school, I wrote, I'm free as a bird now. And that still holds true, and it's taken me 35 years to figure that out. That I want to be part of a religion that lets me be myself. That doesn't make any other person better than me. That doesn't make me better than anybody else. That grows with me, and that is pretty open-ended, and it allows me to work with my own intuition to decide what the principles mean to me in my own life. Because spirit, all religions will tell us that life continues on after death, but only spiritualism proves it. Okay? As our fourth and fifth principle will tell us. It continues on, and we prove it through mediumship. During demonstrations, it's our job as mediums, and we're not perfect. We're not supposed to be. We're channels for spirit. They're speaking through us. Not everybody in spirit speaks perfectly either, you know? Imagine when we get there. We have to go to some stranger and say, hey, that's my family over in the third row. Can you remind her about the cookies I used to love to make for her? Okay. You know, sometimes it's that simple. Sometimes it's a little more intense what they need to tell us. But the fact of the matter is that we are in a place, in a space, in a reality that's before the consciousness of our society. We're the light bringers. We're the ones who have this knowledge in our hearts. And we're the ones who gently hold it close to us. Sometimes we've been persecuted for that. Other times we've been misunderstood. But society's evolving. And have you heard the new phrase that's all over the TV now called woke? People who are woke. Have you heard this new phrase?
Yeah.
Some of you have. Well, you can impress the youngsters at Thanksgiving this year by telling them that spiritualism is woke. Okay? It means, being woke means that you're knowledgeable and sensitive to the cultural norms. Sometimes it's about politics, but mainly it's about, in my opinion, enlightenment. And I feel that the people who I've met through spiritualism, a lot of times we come here because we feel lonely. We feel like we don't belong. We feel grief. or we want to understand why the lights keep blinking in our bedroom when we're trying to go to sleep, right? How did you get here, you know? And I'm a 20-hour drive from here. I don't know how I got here. I have no idea. I have no idea. But I'm here, and Spirit brought me here. And I pay attention, and I listen, and I love Spirit. I listen to my guidance, as you all do. And when I first got to a spiritualist church, I had to, first of all, figure out, okay, I'm normal. You know, what I'm experiencing does happen to a lot of other really super awesome people. And now what do I do with it, right? And then you figure out what to do with it, and then everybody else wants to know what, you know, and then you become a support system for other people. And we're the ambassadors of spiritualism. We're the ambassadors. We're the people who humbly hold this truth in our hearts and are available for those who want to seek us out, right? Because when people are grieving, when they're at their lowest point, they start thinking about things we think about every Sunday, like life after death and communication with Spirit. And so it's really helpful for us to kind of figure out what that means to us, okay? And it's really a very simple thing. It means that through the knowledge that life continues on after death, that we don't have to fear it. It's something not necessarily to look forward to, but when the time comes that maybe we get a call from the doctor or our loved one's health is failing and we know that transition is imminent, we can have some peace in our heart knowing that life continues on after death of the body, okay? And we can prove that through mediumship. And it's not going to be proven in one contact, okay? It's not a perfect science. But through communicating and receiving messages from Spirit, little by little, we can build the knowledge in our heart that our intelligence continues on and is able to continue communicating here with us. Is everybody following that? You guys all kind of getting it? And I didn't really understand how this was all going to tie together because it seemed like it was all over the place. But it feels to me that what Spirit's asking from us is this Thanksgiving to maybe talk a little bit about spiritualism if we're in a family with people who maybe don't know about it. Maybe if we're in line at the store, apply our spiritualist principles and put them into action. Practice it. You know, practice our beliefs, because as we start hearing these beliefs about, you know, the golden rule and all those things that, you know, treating others the way we want to be treated, as we go forward and apply these beliefs to our own lives, they start being proven to us. And we start saying, yeah, this really does work. We'll start getting feedback. You know, one of my girlfriends, I picked her up one night for a class, and she dilly-dallied for 20 minutes, and the whole time I'm sitting in the car, I'm like, okay, she's driving me crazy, I'm leaving and going by myself. Okay, no, it's happening for a reason, you know? Going back and forth, why is this happening? So we drove there, drove home, I left her, and because of the timing, I ended up seeing, it's a long story, I don't want to really tell you the whole story, but because of the way it worked out, I ended up seeing a car accident right in front of me. And the car was fine, the person was fine, but because I started listening to what I was saying, I feel like I started manifesting it in my own life, okay? So when Spirit starts giving us this information, we start learning about how to apply spiritual principles to our life, like understanding synchronicity, understanding that, things happen for a reason. When we actually start believing it and applying it and saying it, then we start pulling more of that in. And that's a whole nother story. But on Thanksgiving this year, I just want to kind of remind myself that the truth of spiritualism is what's important to me. And I feel like, I don't know about you, but I assume you're all empaths too, and you can feel stuff and have gut feelings. And for me, the word of spiritualism, the principles, all resonate with me. It feels like truth. And so when we speak our truth, the truth is there. And I just want to encourage you on behalf of Spirit to share with the woke people some of the things we've shared here today. Because in the words of have you heard of The Afterlife with Billy Fingers, the book? It's a brother who died, and he was kind of a pain in the neck when he was here. But, well, to his sister anyway. But from Spirit, he's this enlightened being. And he says, I bring the knowledge that something kinder and more wondrous is the ultimate reality. Okay? And so I'd like to leave you with those words.